Hello, and welcome to Washington Courts Report, the official podcast of the Administrative Office of the Courts, where I cover some of the most exciting news from the AOC and around the Washington court system as a whole. I'm your host, Patrick Harley, and today we're going to be going over Washington's recently proclaimed Therapeutic Court Month, and some of the efforts that have been happening around the state and within the AOC in the therapeutic court system. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. For those who are unfamiliar, therapeutic courts, often called treatment or drug courts, are specialized court programs designed to address the underlying issues contributing to criminal behavior. These courts aim to provide alternatives to traditional incarceration by offering tailored interventions and support services to individuals with specific needs, such as substance abuse disorders and mental health challenges, while ensuring that participants have the resources and support they need to be successful on their path to recovery. Nationally, May is recognized as Treatment Court Month, but in Washington state, the legislature uses the term therapeutic courts instead of treatment courts, as this language better captures all that our therapeutic courts do, which encompasses much more than just treatment, such as structured hearings, personalized support, case management, providing resources, accountability, and a therapeutic approach based on best practices. To recognize the importance of therapeutic courts in Washington and the benefits of the work they're doing around the state, Governor Jay Inslee proclaimed on March 11th that May of 2024 would be Therapeutic Court Month. Governor Inslee's proclamation read, in part, "Whereas, amidst a rising fentanyl epidemic, increasing fatal overdose rates, and an ongoing mental health crisis, drug court and other therapeutic courts are an important part of an effective statewide continuum of care for individuals with behavioral health disorders. And whereas, Washington State is a national leader in creating meaningful pathways out of the legal system and towards recovery and family reunification, having supported some of the earliest therapeutic courts in the country, and these innovative courts are now operating in nearly every county and level of court statewide. And whereas, therapeutic courts have an upstream impact, helping to interrupt what is often a generational cycle of substance use and legal involvement, and prevent adverse childhood experiences associated with parental substance use, incarceration, and foster care." And with that, Governor Jay Inslee proclaimed May 2024 as Therapeutic Court Month. And that proclamation really set the tone for a productive month of progress in our therapeutic court system. But Therapeutic Court Month wasn't just recognized at the state level. There were multiple towns and counties across Washington issuing proclamations of their own, holding community events and celebrating therapeutic court graduations with local and state officials. For just a few examples, in Snohomish County, the council issued a resolution recognizing May 2024 as National Treatment Court Month on April 30th, and in King County, the council proclaimed May as Therapeutic Court Month at their May 21st meeting, with a proclamation similar to the governor's. In Lewis County, drug court alumni and enrollees held a Walk for Recovery in Centralia on May 13th to get out into the community to spread awareness about substance abuse, addiction, and their consequences. There were over 100 attendees, according to the Daily Chronicle. Congratulations to all the organizers and everyone who participated on the successful event. Those are just a few of the things that were happening around the state all of May from therapeutic courts. Also, for Therapeutic Court Month, the AOC Behavioral Health Team with the Office of Court Innovation hosted and engaged in several events. One group, who the Behavioral Health Team has been supporting, and who I know was happy with these different proclamations and events, is the newly formed Washington State Therapeutic Court Alumni Association. This nonprofit organization held their first meeting in February and has since been hard at work to serve as a resource to therapeutic court alumni around Washington. While therapeutic courts serve as a tremendous resource to enrolled participants, once someone graduates, they are often left on the path to recovery without a support network. That's where the Alumni Association is hoping to come in. I spoke with the president of the Therapeutic Court Alumni Association, Joe Barsana, and he explained the mission of the association and why an alumni network is so important for those on the path to recovery.
When you're in the therapeutic court, you have a big support system of folks. You have other participants, people you live with in housing. You have, case managers, just a big, robust group of folks, the judge, prosecutors, people who help support you. Now, the day you graduate, everything changes, right? And the thing that alumni face and what they're competing with is the overwhelming fentanyl crisis out there and the overwhelming need to stay in sobriety and recovery, the overwhelming need to kind of continue these support. And they find that having a recovery support system is one of the most key vital importance to keep people on the continued, path towards recovery.
Joe went on to explain the mission of the Alumni Association is to support alumni group development and sustainability across Washington, and to meet the need of extended recovery support for all treatment court graduates in the state by helping grow robust recovery communities. They continued this mission with their most recent meeting held on May 4th, where a group of more than 30 alumni from around the state all met to discuss what has been successful for them, what alumni groups need to succeed, and to read and celebrate the recently proclaimed Therapeutic Court Month. This event was sponsored by the AOC Behavioral Health Team, and here's Joe once again with what the alumni reaction was to the governor's proclamation.
I think people felt accounted for. Yeah. I think people felt like therapeutic courts, the importance and the power behind those things are really so important to participants that when they heard that the governor gave a proclamation, right, they felt heard. They felt that they're part of the solution, that they're part of this community that's celebrating something, a solution that works, right? Because, you will hear about fentanyl deaths, overdose deaths, all these different things. You hear that, it's all you hear in the news. When you get to see something positive like that, you get to celebrate with other people in recovery about, hey, there's one of the solutions that's worked for us, and we get to celebrate that together. So I think that was a big part of it.
Joe also explained that they've partnered with Seattle University and have multiple SU law students working with them so that the association can receive their 501c3 nonprofit status moving forward. You can follow along with the work of the association by following them or liking them on Facebook at WA State Therapeutic Court Alumni Association. Once more, that's WA State Therapeutic Court Alumni Association. There, you can receive updates about therapeutic courts from around the state and the association's quarterly meetings. A lot of exciting work happening there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the group continues to help develop alumni groups around the state. Continuing the trend of exciting work happening in Washington's therapeutic courts, on May 10th, the behavioral health team hosted an orientation for a new tool that is coming to Washington's drug treatment courts to assist in addressing racial and ethnic disparities. The Racial and Ethnic Disparities Program Assessment Tool, or RED tool, captures, assesses, scores, and provides recommendations about inequities found in therapeutic court programs, and identifies strategic opportunities and plans to foster and promote equity. The web-based tool does this with a series of questions for treatment court teams to answer and share their experiences and court policies. Washington will be the 7th state to participate in the statewide program with American University, which created the tool, and the Center for Justice Innovation, which partnered with AU to administer the tool to states, identify recommendations, and facilitate future trainings with courts based off the results of the assessments. As of now, over 20 courts have signed up for the RED tool assessments. Sign-up is still open, and the behavioral health team are now seeking superior courts to participate. Therapeutic court coordinators and other therapeutic court staff will take the assessment with their teams in the coming weeks to identify potential disparities in their courts. A 2023 national report on treatment courts by the National Drug Resource Center showed that over 60% of therapeutic and treatment court participants are white, meaning a disproportionate amount of non-white drug users are not being given an equal chance to participate in these programs nationally. Graduation rates from the same report support the existence of disparities, with Black and African American participants having the lowest graduation rates among therapeutic court participants at only 57.3% graduating. Immediately after the assessment, courts will receive an overall score and a score for each of the assessment's 8 different sections based on their answers. And this will provide a starting point in helping the courts identify the areas that they need to address the most. The areas the assessment evaluates courts on are court information, intake, assessments, demographics, team members, training, drug and treatment support services, and evaluation and monitoring. The tool offers teams a valuable, important space to start the conversation about where they can improve. In addition to tailored feedback to individual courts, the Center for Justice Innovation will also work with American University to form a statewide report from the aggregate data, which will come out later this year and reflect Washington's therapeutic courts' racial and ethnic disparity trends as a whole. This tool is a great step in the right direction for therapeutic courts to address disparities and increase equity in their programs. Finally, to wrap up Treatment and Therapeutic Court Month, we had the AOC Behavioral Health Team and staff from AOC's Family, Youth, and Justice Program and the Washington State Center for Court Research attend the 2024 RISE Conference, which is the only national conference for treatment and therapeutic court professionals, and ran from May 22nd to 25th. Dozens of therapeutic court staff from around the state also attended the conference. There, they gathered with thousands of other treatment court professionals to continue to advance treatment for those with substance use and mental health disorders, to learn, share knowledge, connect with other professionals, and attend informative sessions. One such session was hosted by AOC's own Dr. Michaela Mize Bowers from the Center for Court Research. The session was titled Treatment Court Data: What, Why, How, and it focused on teaching local and state therapeutic court teams what key data points to collect and how to use that data to improve court practices, with an interactive session designed to practice those same skills. Dr. Mize Bowers presented to a full room of around 100 participants, with a session meant for staff who are interested in using data in their court programs, but don't necessarily know how to go about collecting it. Some of the foundational sets of data that Dr. Mize Bowers recommended all courts start collecting include demographic information of their participants, such as race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and disability status to better identify any disparities that might be present. She also recommended that courts gather data on key dates for program participants, such as when someone was charged with an offense, when do referrals occur, when do screenings happen, and when they enter and exit the program. Together, these sets of data will give therapeutic and treatment courts an idea of who's coming into the program, how long is it taking them to get through the program, and how are they exiting. Here's Dr. Mize Bowers on why collecting these sets of data should be a priority for therapeutic and treatment court teams.
Looking at how participant outcomes are, do participants feel like the court is serving them in a good way? Do the participants feel like they're getting the help that they need or the treatment services that they need? Are folks getting the support they need in order to go on and lead a healthy, productive life, right? And the only real way to understand that is if you take a step back and look at both the numbers and the narratives. It's important to understand what's going on in a program because data is more than numbers. It represents people's lives.
In addition to the presentation held by Dr. Mize Bowers, another event of note for Washington attendees was Stronger Together, an event held in collaboration with the AOC Office of Court Innovation, the Washington Healthcare Authority, and the Washington State Associations of Drug Court Professionals. This event allowed for therapeutic court staff from across Washington to create a sense of community and have a place at the conference where they could come together and connect. The event was a big success with a packed house of over 130 therapeutic court professionals from around Washington and AOC staff attending. The event also served as a precursor to the Washington State Association of Drug Court Professionals annual conference that will be happening in October, which will continue the mission of forging connections within therapeutic court teams, their communities, and other courts. And with that wraps up our coverage of Therapeutic Court Month. A big thank you to all of the AOC employees, court staff, and alumni who made these events possible and are working hard to continue to improve the therapeutic court system. For a copy of the governor's full proclamation, links to the Red Tool website, and further information on the behavioral health team at the AOC, visit www.courts.wa.gov. On behalf of Washington's Administrative Office of the Courts, thank you for listening to the very first episode of the Washington Courts Report. If you're interested in hearing more, you can follow Washington Courts Report on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, where new episodes will be releasing monthly. New episodes will also be posted on the Washington Courts Facebook page upon release. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.